As of today, some of the issues that we have already covered. Today was the launch of the Tropical Cyclone Winston Flash Appeal with the Fiji government, with the United Nations, through UNDP and UN OCHA, and the many head of missions and diplomats who were there. And there was also a donors briefing by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The divisions are now working towards closing all of school-based evacuation centers by Sunday, as I mentioned it yesterday, and all schools that are supposed to open on the 7th will close, will open. We know that some, like Queen Victoria School and a few others, will not be able to, because they will need quite a momentum on the repair to be done on those schools. The police deployment on now been restructured to focus on supporting the NOC and together with the Dismac logistics. At Nassau Tikina, in the hinterlands in the interior, the team were not able to deliver rations there simply because of the crossing was flooded. We are looking at alternative to send this by air. We now have on the ground the auxiliary work that are done by the Fiji Red Cross. They are now also on the ground making assessments and providing assistance across the 4 divisions. Another issue that we would like to mention is that the Biosecurity Authority of Fiji, they are now restricting the movement of live animals and carcasses, beehives and equipment within Fiji during this emergency period. I'll now cover the Eastern Division. Red Cross has actually made assessment of 329 households and have assisted 247. As of yesterday, the Excellency, the President, visited Bunombalabo together with the Minister responsible for disaster management and together with the Commissioner of Police and also the Commander of the RFMF. Some urgent works they still needed to be done at Naingani. They need water tanks and also temporary shelters. So for the status so far in the Eastern Division in terms of the evacuation centers, the highest are still in Overlau with 5,811 evacuees and 220 evacuation centers. But overall for the division, Eastern Division, there are now 332 evacuation centers with a population of 9,842. Moving into the Central Division, again the Red Cross have been doing the assessment and also their assistance. I would also like to mention here that for Central Division, all the evacuation centers are now closed. So it's now become zero. The Minister of Health, the issues of health has now come up. There have been a treatment of suspected cases of typhoid in Gelekuro and also Ngoma in the Talibu North. They are now awaiting blood results for suspected viral cases. And also now Gelekuro has been, through the Ministry of Health, that village has been quarantined because of the issues that I have mentioned. In terms of the Western Division, the clearance and the clearing continues. National Fire Authority continues working in Rakiraki. The Red Cross, as I mentioned, they have assessed 3,927 households in the Western Division, and they have assisted 849. In terms of distribution of tents, there are 314 tents that have already been distributed in the Mba and Tavua areas. There were quite a number of assistance that were brought in by the Indian government, the government of India, and these tents have actually been gone down to the people. But they still need of tents and also of tarpaulins, and we are still receiving assistance from overseas. Some are coming next week. For example, UNICEF, they will also be through their WAS cluster here. They'll also be receiving our tents together with the Ministry of Education, and we will be together providing that for the needy areas as from next week. In terms of the evacuation centers in the West, the highest is still Ra with 278 evacuation centers still open with a total of 14,498. The total now for the Western Division has reduced. The number of evacuation centers are now 337 and the evacuees in these centers have dramatically been reduced to 16,806. In terms of the Western Division also, I would like to mention here for record that our non-government organizations, local and also overseas, they are actually providing assistance, and there are various districts and areas in West, especially for Ra areas that they have provided. An example, Rotary Club, the Adra Fiji, the Ramakrishna Mission Fiji, Shiva Saram Sangha, the Sea Mercy, the Vodafone Foundation, the Bank of Baroda, Value City, McDonald's, and so forth. For the Northern Division, the assessment continues for Lebu, Naweni, and the Konrove. Again, Red Cross has also assessed the Northern Division. They have assessed 787 households and have assisted 309 families. So for the evacuation centers in the north, the evacuation centers still being activated has now been reduced to 54, and the number of evacuees in the Northern Division is now 2,589. Also in the north, the contribution by the non-government organizations also across the district or the province of Mbua, and also for the Kaunrove, where we have Rotary Club, the Global Compassion, Satya Sai, even the Bua Provincial Holdings, and a couple of others. They are also providing assistance through the district officers in the Northern Division. So in terms of the analysis of the evacuation centers for the division, as I've mentioned, there has been a dramatic decrease in the number of evacuation centers that are still being activated, and also the number of evacuees who are in the centers. So as of now, as of today, the total number of evacuation centers have now been reduced to 722. 69 of those are schools, and those are the ones that we would like to to remove so that we can use as schools from Monday next week. The number of evacuees have now been reduced to 29,237. That is where we are at the moment. I will take questions now.
The evacuees have basically returned to their homes or temporary shelters?
They have returned to their homes. We are also looking at other areas. For example, the Methodist Church in Fiji, we are negotiating, and they have put up their hands that they can provide the church facilities, especially the church halls, to be used by evacuees once they are being removed from the schools.
So you mentioned about biosecurity, knowledge of restricting movement of animals. Does the same apply for people? Those moving from Koro to Suva?
Okay, at the moment, the Biosecurity Authority have issued that, especially for the movement of animals, contaminated animals. There has not been any advice or issue being provided in terms of the movement of the affected people. All we understand is that wherever they are, the affected people, they have been provided with assistance through government, and also in their respective areas, the Minister of Health, through their health teams together, assisted by the Australian and the New Zealand who are here with the two big boats, Canberra and Canterbury. They are actually assisting those areas to get them back into normalcy, and also to assist in the health issues within those areas.
So there have also been a number of incentives by the people of Manapalab. Regarding the issue of medicines, they said most of the medicines it's either expired or it's nearly expiry date. Have you received any complaints regarding the issue of medicine and that?
We have not, but we have the naval ship from New Zealand, Canterbury there. So whatever issues that are being covered by Honambalau and the surrounding islands, that ship should be able to accommodate for that, and we are liaising with them on a daily basis.
So, as you mentioned, there are 69 schools operating as evacuation centers, and we are expecting them to close by at least Sunday afternoon, so schools can open for Monday. 69 schools is a big number, so what's your comment in relation to where the people will be going? Because a number of houses have been destroyed, just in major damages. So where these people, whether they will be staying in tents, and if yes, how many people are we expecting to see from Monday staying in tents?
As I've mentioned, the Methodist Church in Fiji have already put up their hand that they can assist for those in their respective parishes, their areas. People can move in there. The other issue is that we are also getting big tents from overseas, being flown over. That can also be another alternative to be used. But the issue of evacuation centers, we would like to mention to the general public is that it is only temporary. And people have to go back and to rebuild their lives, first of all through their homes, what they can put together. And so that they can continue from there. Government would not want to continue having longer term evacuation centers because that can be counterproductive on our social issues and make people too reliant. What we would like to build is people to be resilient instead of being reliant.
So you don't have the numbers of people going to temporary shelters or
Not yet. No, we haven't yet. But we will do a look into that in the weekend, and hopefully we should be able to either provide you tomorrow or by Monday. Yeah.
So the areas where people will be moving out from schools and going to these big tents that you mentioned, have those areas been identified? Which are the major areas that we're looking at?
We are working with the Ministry of Education on that one there because it is their facilities, the Ministry of Education facilities. But yes, the Methodist Church have come on board, and I'm sure there are other players on the ground that they can provide, in which government would like them to come on board, raise their hands and come on board to assist so that we can get the schools being emptied from evacuees and then to start off the education of our children.
So is the Methodist Church both providing the halls and churches both for education purposes and for evacuees to stay there?
Actually for both, especially for their church halls. Especially for their church halls, we are working with them on this, and we are hoping that by tomorrow, by Monday, we should be able to identify which of their facilities that will be available to build at this evacuation. Last question.
So in terms of the death tolls, does it still stand at 43?
The death toll remains at 43. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.